And as soon as we do that, I will ask each of you to say something about what brings you here today and what you would like out of the meeting. And as soon as we do that, I will ask each of you to say something about what brings you here today and what you would like out of the meeting. Now we might be getting a little echo. And as soon as we do that, I will ask each of you to say something. What brings you here what today, I have to do. And what you would like out of the meeting. Now we might be getting a little echo. And as soon as we do that, I will ask each of you to... Oh.
Ok, tu peux venir, hein, juste, je vais pouvoir sûrement parler bientôt en plus.
Right. I think we should be okay now. Can anybody check for me whether we are live streaming on YouTube?
Yeah.
We are.
I don't know YouTube, no.
Okay. It should be. Oh, here's Peggy as well. Hi, Peggy. Nice to see you. Okay, guys, so I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves very briefly and say why you're in the inner circle and what you would like to get out of today's session. So, Jim, you have been part of the inner circle for a very long time, probably for a year, right from the start, right, Jim?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
And you are in Edinburgh, right, Jim?
Absolutely, yes.
And so tell us what brings you here.
Well, I always like coming to the Sunday meetings. I like coming to Zoom because I never know how to work it, and I feel quite accomplished after I've participated and managed to get it working. But I like coming to the Sunday meetings. I always learn something, and I'm always looking to learn new things.
And you always contribute something too, don't you?
Well, I think so. I hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you in person. Thank you for being here. I will go next to Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Emmy.
Good
Hi,
to
tribe.
see you too.
It's great to be here. I'm here for connection. And I came across Emmy's work as part of my university studies last year in an elective. And thank goodness I chose that elective because it's meant the world to me and kept me sane through a lot of non-electives in my studies. I actually did a major project sort of tracking Emmy's work against Irvin Yalom's work and became enthralled in the paradox. So now I have a new lens of life. But yeah, I come back to connect with people, I think, that are very much of the same mind as me, that are very human focused and very interested in other people and also personal growth and actualizing. So I'm a therapist myself, but I'm also very humble and I know I have a lot to learn. So I will be here every chance I get. It's been a bit hard lately because it's been 3 a.m. when it's been 4 p.m. there. So
yeah, well, tell us where you are based. Tell us where you are based.
So I'm in Ballarat in Victoria, Australia. So right down the bottom, a little bit out of Melbourne. So we just
and so
lost our
you have
summertime.
been coming in the middle of the night to come to these sessions, which is quite extraordinary commitment, and we really appreciate it. And we can see that it's the middle of the night there.
Yeah,
you are in the dark with the lights on. Whereas we are in full afternoon here in the UK right now. Thank you, Michelle, for doing that.
Thank you.
And for your commitment. That's pretty amazing.
It's always worth it every time I rock up.
Fantastic. Jin, it's good to see you here again. So
Hello.
you are joining us from quite a different part of the world, right? So you're in France.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about your adventures with the inner circle of the existential zone.
Yes, I'm in France, Ardèche, and I've been in the inner circle since maybe 6 months, I would say.
Yes.
And I kind of stopped lately to attend. But I saw that there were the Zoom meeting, so I thought that it was a good time to come back because
Lovely to see you.
yeah, because
It's
it's always
really lovely to
challenging.
see you in person, as it were.
Yes, and yeah, it's always challenging for me to like speak instead of write. So when I saw the Zoom session, I was like, it was a good opportunity to challenge myself
Yeah,
and
yeah.
come talk in front of you all and learn new things too. So yeah, I'm not a professional therapist or anything, but I'm just interested in
No,
those
no.
questions.
And you're also not a native English speaker, so you're
No,
challenging yourself quite a
yeah,
bit being here.
yes,
So welcome. Great to see
thank you.
you. I think Sarah wants to go next because her cat is kind of
Yes.
announcing it, isn't she? So, yeah, you're unmuting yourself. Yeah. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you.
So forgive me, I'm excited to be here, and all of the excitement and all of the nerves are very present, so I might be a little bit jumbled.
That's
Um,
fine.
yeah, I came across Emmy's YouTube channel maybe between a year and 2 years ago, um, coinciding with a big transition in my life. I kind of had my first big move, and with that move, I was also thinking a lot about what I wanted to do next. And I guess what I wanted to do with my life, what I wanted to do professionally, and I kind of came to the decision of pursuing counseling. But with that, I recognized that I had a lot of personal work that I needed to do if I wanted to show up in that field the way that I was hoping to. Um, and I guess I kind of just serendipitously through my exploration of what I wanted to do and how I needed to grow, I kind of serendipitously came across Emmy's channel.
And where are you based, Sarah? Tell us
I'm in
that again. Sorry?
California in the United States.
So you're in California. So we got quite a spread there, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got Australia, we've got France, we got California, we got Edinburgh, we got Scotland. So let's see where the others are. So I go over to you, Deborah, next. So I know you're in good old England, so tell us all about it.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from South Africa, as you can hear with the accent, but I live in Essex in England. And I came across Emmy's channel quite by accident, and thank God for that. Probably like Sarah a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And it just resonated with me, all the teachings, and I started binge watching
I like
videos.
that
And then
idea.
yeah, I mean, at my age of 62, I found something that really connected with me. And this inner circle, each one of you, I find connecting there. I just got to stop there and say hello to Kitty and hello to Bruno.
Oh, he's under the desk.
Yeah, but yeah, it really resonated, Emmy's teachings and the inner circle. And I've never joined anything before like this, but it just feels so natural. And I learned something. That's the most important thing that I get out of this is that I improve myself to be a better person and to be of better service in
Yeah.
the world. So
That's
thank you.
what it's all about, isn't it? That's what we're trying to do together, to
Yeah,
challenge each other, to learn new things, and to
yeah,
just feel that life is worth living because we're in a community of like-minded people and we keep learning, and it doesn't matter
yeah.
really what happens because we support each other. Something like that. Thank you, Deborah. It was really, really lovely to see you there. I feel like I know you quite well by now. You've been around for the whole year and 2 months or so that we've been going, haven't you?
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
one of the very first ones to join the inner circle.
With Eva, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we move to Pauline next. Hi, Pauline.
Hey.
You're also in the UK, aren't you?
I know, Emmy, we're almost neighbours, really.
I
In
know,
terms of,
you're in Sussex.
I'm in Sussex,
Hmm.
although I'm probably an hour drive away from Emmy, but
Yeah.
we look over the similar landscape as each other. So yeah, I've been around in the group for quite a while as well. I can't quite remember where I came, and again it was just stumbling upon you, Emmy, and listening to what you had to say. And I'm in the 62 club as well, 62-year-old.
Yes, same age as Deborah, yeah.
It's I found that a very, as you know, really a sort of profound, I came to a profound sort of existential, I mean, I could call it a crisis. It makes it, but I don't know what else to call it, really.
It's a new phase. It's a transformative phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of, I fell off my old perch, if you like, and I'm just seeking really to understand how to go forward in my life. And
Yeah.
I'm in some sort of bardo, limbo sort of state at the moment. And therefore listening to really, Emmy, your point of view on life, and which obviously is your teaching, but it's you as well, I think. And I think the whole group is actually, it's the only group that I belong to. There's lots of things I'm tempted by on YouTube and Substack, etc. But it's kind of like an experiment here in how to be intimate and with people on a forum that doesn't seem to really generally do that. And I think that is in itself super valuable, that we can, we can do that, and that Emmy's done that as well. So
absolutely, yes. So it's not about therapy and it's not about counseling. It's about exploring life and being honest with ourselves and daring to share things that we find difficult and learning from that, which is pretty much what I do in my work anyway. But as you know, more recently, I have set aside the normal boundaries that I've had to use for 50 years as a psychotherapist, where I remain very private and kind of aloof from people, both from my students and my clients. This is a phase of my life at 74 when I give myself permission to just be a learner together with the people I speak with, and to say it as I feel it and I think it, and to share my experience and whatever wisdom I have gathered on the way. So that's the general objective of the exercise. So thank you, Pauline, for bringing that up. Great stuff.
Thanks, Emmy. Thank you.
And next we go to Ron. Ron, you're in the USA as well, aren't you?
Yes, hi. Good to see everybody. I am in the USA. I'm in New York City. I live in the Bronx. I think somebody else here is from New York City, right? I think. So,
Not right now. No, we have somebody in the group, but not in this small group today.
Not in the Zoom session. Okay.
Not in the Zoom session, but yeah, there are other people in New York. But we have Sarah, who's in California, of course.
California, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, like a lot of people, about a year or two ago, I was, stumbled across a video on YouTube. I've always struggled with anxiety. I think I've probably been watching a lot of videos about dealing with anxiety, and you must have come up in the algorithm or something like that.
That's nice to hear.
And I was like, wow, I was really I was really struck by the video. It just seemed to really tell me exactly, what I needed to hear at that moment. And I just started following, I subscribed and started following your videos. And of course, when you started this group, I joined it, and it's been great. So it's been so helpful to me, and I wanted to come today to connect with people who, have had similar experiences and are, learning from you and enjoying participating
And from
in
each
this
other.
circle and from each other. That's right.
Mm. And it's so great when you all have a voice instead of just being able to type, isn't it? I do find it
Yes.
very pleasant to see you all in this Zoom session, I have to say. It's so nice to see the faces and see you moving and see you being real people rather than just these shadows of yourselves, writing a sentence here and there and some emojis. Yes. Yeah, so Ron, you've been part of the group probably very much from the beginning, haven't you? Probably for about a year, I would say.
I think so. Yeah, over a year, I'm sure. Yeah.
Over a year, yeah. So you're one of the originals, definitely. So it's really lovely to have you here. And lovely to have somebody from New York City, because as you know, I have family in New Jersey who work in New York City. So it always makes it feel like, there's that connectivity is really nice. Cool. And then finally, Peggy, over to you. You have joined us more recently, haven't you, Peggy?
Yes, I'm the newbie here, I think. It's great to see everyone. Thank you for doing the Zoom. It's wonderful. So for me, I guess big life changes happening in the last couple of years, and I've just been feeling like I really thought like I'm going through some kind of existential crisis here, I think. And so I think Emmy, you just popped up somehow magically for me, like so many others here. It's interesting how that
It's
has
funny
happened.
how these algorithms work, isn't it? I am amazed by it, honestly. It feels so special that the whole world is connected and that somehow you put out a message and other people who are on a similar wavelength pick it up and find you and start relating to each other. It does seem like magic to me. And each time somebody joins, there is this sort of feeling of, have they found the right place? Are they going to stay? What's going to happen here? And you clearly have found your way and you're
I
here
think I
to
will
stay.
stay. Yeah, I
Yes.
think I will stay. Also, I joined right before your surgery,
Oh, right.
and
Yeah.
one of the first things I read was your description of your experience, and I it was so moving. I couldn't, I kept watching that and listening,
No,
and it just really it moved me so much.
it was
But
very raw, wasn't it? I let myself just say it as it
yeah,
was.
yeah, that was so moving and just touching for me. And then it just feels like your teachings are so just heartfelt,
They're
and
heartfelt.
I'm very connected, feel very
Yeah, they've
connected
been
with
sifted by my life for many, many decades. And the objective is to be more real, not to be on a, place from where I look down on the world. It's about actually using what I've learned and sharing and learning new people with like-minded individuals. It's extraordinary. Now, Peggy, remind us where you are, though.
Oh yes, I'm in Arizona,
You're in Arizona, so we have three very different parts
and
of the USA represented.
it's 8 o'clock in the morning here.
8 o'clock in the morning.
Yawn.
But what time is it for you, Sarah? Same.
Yeah,
Oh,
also
same
Same,
eight.
thing.
same time zone. Yeah.
Okay.
I suppose California and Arizona are not that far apart
Yeah,
then.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well that's cool. There are a few other people who were going to join us for this session, but they haven't arrived. So we are quite a small group, much smaller than we normally are in the inner circle when we meet. We usually have about 15 there now, which is quite funny in itself because there are about 100 people in the inner circle, but most of those 100 people only watch the videos of our meetings afterwards and watch the readings, but they don't feel ready to join. So there are sort of different levels of engagement. And this now, if we're doing these regular videos, this will become an even bigger level of engagement. And just want to remind you that this is going to everybody who subscribes to the channel, not just to the inner circle, because I don't know how to arrange for the YouTube connection to only go to the inner circle ones. But I think that's quite good because if you are happy to do that, I mean, bear that in mind. It's not as private as the inner circle. But if you're happy to do that and we can create a group who's willing to do that, then we can have that, say, once a month. And that brings it to a wider audience rather than just being the little group behind the paywall. So I think it's a very good thing to have this. So tell me what you would like to ask today. We said we would talk about the readings from last week and this week, which were both on being a body in a physical world, a reading from my new book, Beginning to Live the Art of Existential Freedom. So I don't know if you have any questions about that or whether you were even able to read it or not. Anybody?
Well, I do, Emmy. I actually am seeing a client at the moment. This is very relevant for Unheimlichkeit, the feeling of not being at home. I think are some of us more predisposed to feeling that more often and more presently than others?
You mean the feeling of not being at home in the place
Yes.
you live rather than not being at home in your own body?
Well, it's
both?
that being that like as Heidegger describes it, the Unheimlichkeit. So like we're not ever
Yes.
really at home. We're
That
always
ill at
a little bit,
easeness
yeah,
of
the ill at
never
ease.
having really found your place in the world and feeling a
Yeah.
bit like an alien, as if everything is a bit wrong and you don't quite fit in and things feel just out of sync with you and you don't know what to do about it or whether you should do something about it. And my experience tells me that most people who do feel that way are actually people who are awake in their life. It is much, much easier to become part of the world if you don't think too much about it and you accept the rules of life and you do what people tell you to do and you go through your life as if you are part of the chain gang, as it were, obediently and not asking for too much, taking your pleasures in the prescribed sort of way, doing the sorts of things everybody else does, distracting yourself. That is usually a much more easy way to live your life. It raises fewer questions because you always are part of a club that does the same things and you can find your bearings following those people and feeling that you're accepted by them and that you fit in that way. But if you don't feel that, and from very early on, most people who don't feel at home have this experience from very early on in their lives. I certainly remember that feeling from when I was a tiny child and sitting there in my family and listening and thinking, what are they on about, and what is really going on, and why am I really here? What else could I be doing than being alive or being part of this family? Do I really belong here, or do I belong somewhere completely different? And I sometimes thought I must be from a different planet and I must be lost in the wrong place. And there was always this search for finding my place in the world. And what that meant is that I had to go find my way. I had to go find my way home, as it were. But maybe not quite home. I had to find my way towards understanding things and finding my bearings in the world. And that's worked out for me in the end, but not without many, many problems along the way. And I'm sure, Michelle, you are having a similar sort of experience. Otherwise, you would not sit there in the middle of the night in Australia talking to us aliens in Europe and in the United States trying to work it out. So tell us a bit about that.
Yes, my fellow aliens. So I haven't felt it from a young age. I had a near-death experience in my late 20s, and that's from that time I've felt this. I know a lot of people do feel it from a very young age, but that was what threw me.
Yeah.
And I guess shook me awake. I had a very close encounter with my own mortality and had to learn, and I think what you're describing, Emmy, is learning to connect with the courage to keep forging forward despite that
Yeah.
uncanniness, that uncomfortable feeling of never really quite fitting in
That's
or
right.
belonging. So that's kind of how I've come into it. And finding your work has really given me a lot of solace and a lot of validation. And I think I've said that before many times. I feel really validated in the chats, because it really does make me feel a lot less alone to know
Yeah.
that my experience isn't an isolated experience. And again, like with the people I work to, the people I work with, they seem to come to me with similar experiences. So I seem to be somehow unconsciously attracting
Yeah.
people of the same experience.
Ilk,
Yeah.
yes, but it's also true that most people who come for counseling and psychotherapy are already on that path too. So most clients of counseling and psychotherapy do have this sense of not quite fitting the norm and asking themselves whether there's something wrong with them because of that, or whether there's something maybe right with them because of that. And I think the willingness to state almost from the start that there is always something right with the person who is on that journey, rather than it being a form of psychopathology, doesn't stop us understanding that some people get very perturbed by that journey and lose themselves along the way, and that it can lead to lots of distress and lots of isolation and lots of symptoms of all sorts, but that nevertheless, usually, that journey is part of a life journey towards greater understanding and greater truth. And you're very clear about that in your work, I think, Michelle, aren't you?
Absolutely. I think it's an honor to sit in front of somebody and hold space for them and tell them that they're not alone,
Yeah.
and that their experience is not, doesn't make them an alien. I do self-disclose that I've been through similar things.
And you've
Just
been told not to do that, I'm sure.
Yep. I just say you're not alone, and I think I just intend that to them, and they can, there's a sense of relief you can see sometimes when people realize that, oh, actually, you really do understand what this feels like. So that's, I think, really powerful for people like us to work in that kind of space, because I know there's a lot of people working in that space that don't have the same experience and don't have the same perspective. So I think it's really valuable.
Yes. I think, Ron, you work in the field as well, don't you?
I'm actually a historian.
You're a historian. Yeah, you're an
Yeah,
academic, but not a
right.
psychotherapist.
That's right.
Yes,
Yeah. But I
yes,
obviously I have an interest in certainly psychology and existential philosophy as well. So
yes. In sort of historical terms as well, in terms of how that way of looking at the world came about at certain times.
yes, and that's more of a, I guess, more of a personal interest
Yeah.
rather than a professional one. My in terms of the history I've worked on, I'm interested in things like social movements, activism in Germany and the United States, sort of
Oh, yes.
transnational connections and things like that. But
Right.
obviously, intellectual history, cultural history, sort of introduced me to folks like Nietzsche and others. So yeah, so connecting to your videos has been great on all number of levels. Helping me with my own anxiety, but also appealing to my interests in history, philosophy, and of course
Fabulous.
psychology. Yeah, it really
Fabulous.
comes
Well,
together.
you will be interested in some videos I've launched into the air today. I've just done, don't know, some of you may have seen them already. I've just uploaded, I should say, about 6 or 7 videos on different philosophers' ideas about evil, because several people have been asking me to speak about evil because they feel so overwhelmed by what is happening in the world, all the wars that are happening, and how people respond to that. But it's not just that, it's also that people perceive that there is a kind of shift, as if human beings don't matter in the same way, as if there is a kind of shift in morality. So I thought, well, I could just do one little clip about evil kind of in general, but I thought it would be good to look at different philosophers and their different views on evil. And I got 2 more to put on. I have done one on Heidegger and one on Hannah Arendt as well, that I haven't uploaded yet. But it was really interesting for me to look at it historically, because I started with, well, I did all the ones I know really well, so I immediately did Socrates because I know him so extremely well. And then I did Spinoza, and I did Hegel, and I did Sartre and de Beauvoir, and I did, Heidegger and Arendt, and I did Nietzsche, of course, as well. And there might be some others. If there's some other philosophers you'd like me to include in that, tell me now, and I'll be glad to add a couple more. Because to look at them specifically for what they have to say and how they regard evil has been very interesting to me. I'd never quite, put it together like that. And I realized they all have such very different views about it. Deborah, did you have a look at them? You tend to find the videos very quickly.
The last video that I watched of yours was about the short reading, which
Just
I was
saying bye-bye to Peggy because her dog has been ill. That's very upsetting to hear, Peggy. So you
oh
need to look
God,
after
I'm
your
so
dog.
sorry.
Yes.
I hope everything's all right.
Take care, Peggy. Lovely to see you.
Bye, Peggy. I
Good
hope
luck
your
with
dog's all
that.
right.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. Oh dear.
oh dear. Um, yeah, the last video I watched was you were talking about dying. From the moment we are born, we are preparing. I think that's the right word that you use, to die. And I've been thinking about that a lot. It's so profound. It's a kind of deep thinking I go into, and why I lap this up like a sponge, really, when you talk about it.
Yeah, well, this is something Heidegger said. Heidegger actually said something to the effect that the moment we are born, we are immediately ready to die. Because,
Wow.
of course, you know, children that are born used to die frequently. Infant mortality used to be extremely high. We have made it a lot better for children, but it is true that children die.
Yeah.
And it is true that the moment you become a creature, the moment you kind of inhabit a human body, you have that fragility and you have that certainty that one day you will remove yourself again and you will disappear and you will die. And that is with you from the word go. But the extent to which you are aware of it and the way in which you deal with that make all the difference. And I think one of you said you'd had a near-death
That
experience.
Michelle.
Yes, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I have. I got hit by
Wow.
a car riding my bike. So I had an experience of waking up on the road and not knowing before the car hit me that it was going to happen. So it was, I guess, assimilating. You wouldn't know what's happening if something like that happened. It'd just be like a light switch. So it can be. It wasn't painful though, you know. It's not like
It's
I don't
weird,
fear
isn't it?
death
It's
that
not
way now. Like
painful.
it's not. No, it was more confusing waking up on the road, semi-concussed. But um, I don't. I don't think it. I think it can be painful. Obviously, there's painful conditions that you can pass away with. But
Well, when you wake up, yes, you
yeah,
can be in great pain, but you don't remember the pain of the hit. Your body
yeah.
protects you from that totally and utterly by falling into a coma. That's gone. And even if you did feel some pain in the moment, you have no memory of it. That's not being recorded by your brain.
Well, I did have some memories. I had PTSD for quite a while until I got some
Did
EMDR
you?
and some
From
therapy.
from
Yes.
just before?
Yeah, it
Yes.
was retrospective amnesia. I couldn't remember it all being hit, but my body would want to move away from anything coming from that
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
And so that
Reflexive
sort of,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
quite dangerous if I rode my bike again after that. So I
It's
needed to,
interesting.
it depends
I
on
still have it, you know. I had
yeah.
this bicycle accident when I was 10 and I was
Mm.
hit from the right. And then I had a motorbike accident when I was 16 and I was also hit from the right. And to this day, I have a reflexive alarm, anything that comes into my field of sight in that way, especially when I'm in the car or on a bike. I
Yeah,
think it can stay with you forever, that kind of thing.
I still have it to an extent that I'm hypervigilant, but I don't swerve. Like I'm not really, it's not dangerous anymore. And it's probably actually
That's good.
saved me from a few accidents as well. So
There's that
I
too.
do, yeah, it's actually adaptive to an extent.
It is. Yes, it is. It is.
Still not
It all
fun though.
depends on how much of it you can tolerate, isn't it?
Yeah.
How much ease you want to retrieve and how much you are ready to be. Well, they call it hypervigilant, but I like to think of it as my vigilance having become much, much more expanded than it ever was by these experiences. Because once you've had an accident like that, you're no longer a virgin. It's like you now know that life can be ended at any point. You have a different kind of awareness of how dangerous life is, and you can see dangers in lots and lots of different things. And that awareness I have found actually stimulating to wanting to use my time, to wanting to be fully alive, to want to make something of it, to know how precious it is. So I don't really want to lose that acuity.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. It's given me a whole new perspective. Made a lot of changes since then. Yeah. And one of those is like my path, obviously.
Yes.
I was
Pauline,
in
you look
accounting
like
before.
you recognize it. You wanted to say something there.
Yes, not to interrupt. It's so interesting, and I think I've always been, I mean, I've been aware of dying and death, and I've been through lots of things, but what's happened to me in the last couple of years has taken it into a completely different level, where I which is that an absolute, almost similar, Michelle, to, I'm not saying it's similar to having a near-death experience, but I absolutely know it. And I think that it's brought on a lot of fear for me, because I was numbing a lot of that down before, and now I'm it's very present, it's cellularly present, and it's absolutely present. And so listening to you, Emmy, say that makes you, you know, find life very precious, I understand that. And but I feel a little bit like a mollusk, you know, who's slightly recoiling from this extreme stimulus, you know, that, and quite knowing how, and trying to navigate my way through my life with others, feeling very alien, because you just want to say everything has changed, actually.
Totally. But what you seem to be searching is to recover that sense of homeostasis, of being able to sometimes be fully alive and alert, and sometimes just let yourself be soothed and be comfortable and go to sleep and be at ease. It is that balancing of life, which is the natural way of being, isn't it? That we need to retrieve. And when we have been harmed by something, or hurt by something, or been woken up by a shock like that, for a while we lose that capability of
That's
trusting.
exactly right. Yes, it's exactly right, Emmy. There's nowhere to rest, or even my home doesn't feel familiar anymore, which is the strangest thing. I've lived here for 40 years, and suddenly everything feels unfamiliar. So there doesn't appear to be anywhere to. And I'm thinking, gosh, how am I going? And it's been maybe a year of that, and I'm thinking,
oh, that's quite wearing,
that's
isn't
quite
it?
a long time, Emmy.
That's quite wearing, yes. So when do you feel most at ease? Is it when you're in bed and go to sleep, or when you read? What is it that makes you feel, now I think I'm attuned again, or this is where I do feel at home?
Well, in fact, the things that used to, like being in bed, or certain small things in life, actually, familiar things, most of them, that has fallen away, which has been difficult. So I can't return to, or I haven't been able to return to those normal things. But maybe something like this, or where I'm speaking, I can say something like, I'm having this experience, and people are, oh yes, that's, we know about that becomes, my system sort of goes, oh well, that's not so bad then. I do want to almost go back. I don't want to go back to where I was before at all, but I'm craving some.
You do need to find that stability again. And we do all need ease and peace in our lives, as well as openness and new discoveries and adventures and excitement. We do need that balance. It's absolutely crucial. And so it's very interesting to hear you say that talking about it with people who can understand it and who can validate your experience is the most pleasant, or is the most comforting of experiences, because it's often like that. And I think that's why we get so involved in research and in reading and in figuring it out and in finding the authors that have captured these things before us, and reading people like Dostoevsky or Sartre and de Beauvoir, who describe those kinds of experiences, not in a pathological way, but in a testing of who you are and testing what life is about and figuring things out way. Nietzsche, of course, is like that too. So is Kierkegaard. I mean, there's so many authors really that are like that, but there's a wealth of literature. All these people have been there before, and it's all around the world as well. And it's incredibly uplifting and reassuring, I think, at the same time, to find just the right person who says things that are exactly tuned in to where you are at. Anyone else have any examples of books they've read that have done that for them? Novels, maybe, or of films you have watched? Jin, I bet you have some examples. I know you read
Um,
quite a lot of interesting things too.
yeah, I was thinking about what I was reading right now, which is about Nietzsche, which is the book
Nietzsche?
by Gilles Deleuze.
Gilles Deleuze.
Yeah,
Very good.
about Nietzsche, which is called Nietzsche et la philosophie. And it really makes me that effect that you were talking about, that I'm reading something that I
Yeah,
feel like I already feel, but I didn't really put the words on it. And when I read, it's like the world is opening, to me.
totally.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
yes. Deleuze and Guattari are,
yeah,
the book, yeah,
yeah.
are wonderful in that way. And they really
Mm.
have connected to that sort of mental health area as well, haven't they?
Yeah, but I was wondering because Deleuze is going. I feel like Deleuze is going very much further than Nietzsche did. No, is I don't know if
Yeah,
you read it.
well, he's exploring it in a much more systematic way. I think
Mm.
Nietzsche was really quite perturbed in his life.
Mm.
He was on a journey that often overwhelmed him. And as you probably know, at the
Mm.
end of his life, he went completely doolally and he lost the plot. And he ended up being quite mentally ill and unable to function in the normal world and being looked after by his mother and his sister, who he despised in many ways. And that was a very unhappy experience for him. So Nietzsche got the inspiration and he, like a poet, really
Yeah,
described it all in really lofty ways, but also in very confused ways
yeah,
sometimes.
and you
Whereas
can't really
people
apply
like
it.
Deleuze try to make sense of it and
Yeah,
find the path.
yes, yes, and but still, I feel like you can't really apply it to your life. It's just like you said, like more poetry than actual.
Yeah.
Because Nietzsche was a very very individual person, no, very very alone. Very, he wasn't really concerned about society and people being together, and
No,
so
no, no, he hated it. He loathed it.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
he was the proverbial loner, he was really. And very sad, he never really had a close relationship in his life. And that made him, in some ways, write all the things he wrote. And it is invaluable because he went out on a limb, he allowed himself to take it quite far and to explore those experiences and to try and make sense of it. But he is not a good guide if you're lost, because he might leave you more lost. And that's why I'm always very cautious around Nietzsche, because Nietzsche can get you disturbed and get you going down the wrong track quite easily.
yeah, I have to say I am kind of lost actually, and reading him leave me like I just want to like leave everything and like like go away from society and like live his life, because I feel like he's kind of giving himself reasons to keep on living like this, because he's just
Yes.
like took himself out of society, so he has to justify it in some way. So
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And that is a path, that is the path of allowing yourself to really go out on a limb and to get
yeah,
lost in the woods, as it were. But
Staring to the abyss, Emmy.
staring into the abyss,
Yeah.
as he said himself, be careful because the abyss will stare back at you and you will end up becoming a monster potentially when you struggle with monsters. And I think that is what happened to him, probably because he had syphilis more than anything else. But nevertheless, you know, that is prototypical of that path of getting lost. As you know, I worked with many people who were psychotic and who went down these kinds of paths over the decades. And so I learned to be cautious and to help people find steady ground under their feet and be much more keen to stabilize a person and to make sure this balance we were talking about earlier, that's the first thing. So Nietzsche didn't care about that, you know, he'd stay up till all hours. But to have a balance in your life where you eat at certain times, where you sleep at certain times, and you get enough proper nurturance and enough proper sleep, that will stabilize you and it will allow you to go on that journey in a much more steady and much more clear way. I realize it's our time to stop, which is shocking, really. And it's been so interesting. I just, you know, love to just carry on, but I feel here too, we need to have our framework and we need to stick with that. But I would like to invite you all to have another session like this in a few weeks' time again. And, you know, I don't know where we're going with it, but maybe we will make 2 levels within the inner circle. One for people who just come to the inner circle sessions and others who come to the video sessions. I'm not sure yet. I'll think about it. Any last words before we leave? Each of you have a turn. Say something. Deborah first.
Me? Oh gosh. I just want to thank you all for your fellowship, really, in the group.
The fellowship. Great
Yeah.
word there. Great word.
Because every week, I don't know about the rest of you, but I leave feeling like I've learned something and or been helped with something. Somebody else may even ask a question that I might have been afraid to ask.
Yeah.
So
Always.
I've always
Every
got something.
Sunday, it sharpens my idea of what I need to do more of or what I need to do next. It fires me on every week. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Deborah. Michelle?
100% agree with Deborah. And also want to just add that I think being authentic is really cathartic as well. I've read some research that actually mediates when you're in the tension of a paradox. And if you've got things pulling you each way and you're not quite sure where to go, just be authentic.
Yep.
I feel like and I think we're being here.
That's what we're aiming for, to find our authenticity. Yeah.
So I'll be back.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you all.
Jin?
Yes, I'm really glad I came. I was a bit afraid to do so and a bit stressed about it because I didn't come for a long time. And after the emails we exchanged, I was like a bit, you know, like, I don't know, I didn't know if I was welcome still. But,
you're very welcome, Jin. You'll always be welcome.
Nice.
It's
and
lovely
so,
to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I came and I'm glad I saw everybody too.
Great stuff. Pauline?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. And I felt like we were just kind of getting going. We could definitely have we were just ready to sort of like launch into the water, but that's okay because we need time, don't we, to warm up,
to
get to know each other a little bit.
We're building something up together.
We are. And so it's kind of like a tea party where you have to do all the niceties first, don't you, before you start talking about the nitty-gritty of life.
It is.
Thank you.
And test the ground and see how ready everybody is and go slowly and, you know, but it's great. Yes, we got a nice little group there and I hope to meet you all soon again like this. Sarah?
I just want to say thank you. I was trying to express to my partner, Adam, this morning or last night, just how much the inner circle has meant to me. I think that I've been kind of in the thick of that experience of like going from being very locked inside of yourself to trying to find your way out. And it is very kind of disorienting and unmooring. And I think having this group as like just a safe space to share ideas and to kind of like discover a new perspective.
And
It's
find
just,
some assurance in yourself with that process.
yeah, and also just be inspired. I think,
Yes.
like,
yes, it's very inspirational to feel that sense of fellowship that Deborah
Yeah.
mentioned. I like that word. I like that fellowship word better than the tribe we've said before.
Yeah, and this group, you know, like I'm just so grateful to you, Emmy, because you know, this group of people, I can't imagine any other scenario where, you know, they might have come together and where, like,
True.
speaking for myself, where I might have had the opportunity,
Very true.
you know, to engage with
It's-
everybody and learn from everybody. So yeah,
It's
just
quite
really-
extraordinary. Peggy, are you there still? Did you want to say a word, or shall we forget about you with your dog? Okay. So, Ron, that leaves you for a last word.
Okay, well, like a lot of people have been saying, I'm really grateful for this group, and certainly for you, Emmy. It's you know, it's a very unique experience. I was trying to explain it a little to my niece. I was talking to her recently, and I said, "Yeah, this existential philosopher that I was watching on YouTube, and we have this discussion group." I mean, that is very strange in a good way. I mean, it's very
It's
unusual
very
that,
strange.
yeah,
Yes.
that people from different parts of the world would be connecting like this
Yes.
through YouTube. You know, I'm used to watching videos where maybe I'll
Yes.
just listen to somebody talk, and they usually try to sell me something or whatever. But
Yeah.
you know, this has been, yeah, it's been a very good experience. And I liked what Pauline said about the Zoom session too. Yeah, please keep doing these. You know, I have a tendency to freeze up on Zoom, even though I've been doing it for years, and it's part of my work.
You're doing great. You're doing
I
great.
shut down a little. Yeah, you know, I tend to. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is, but I tend to kind of freeze up on it. So it's good for me to come on and do this too, and I'm sure for everybody else too. Thanks so much. Yeah,
It's
I really appreciate
fabulous to have you
everything.
here, Ron. It's fabulous to have you all. I've really enjoyed this session a lot, and we'll have to end there. It's 5 o'clock. So see you next week in the usual way, but soon
Cheers.
again on Zoom, I'm sure, because we obviously all really enjoyed it quite a lot.
Thank you. Get some
Yes.
sleep, Michelle.
Bye all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes. Thanks so
Bye-bye.
much. Thanks, Emmy.